Thank you.
The judge's patience shatters as she slams the brakes on a plea deal, calling out chaos inside the jail. Tension rises as the courtroom feels the weight of consequences yet to come.
Ms. Morfino. All right, sir, are you Camden Jackson? And Mr. Harris, will your client waive the formal reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Give me just a second to get that. Mr. Jackson, in cause number 20, all right, y'all marked third degree on the paperwork, but the indictment says second. I just want to make sure it's marked correctly.
I just looked at it sideways.
Okay, so that should be second degree?
Yes, Your Honor.
If with everybody's permission, I'll make that change on the paperwork?
Yes.
Okay.
And apologies for my handwriting because it's horrible. on the
It's,
tablet.
well, it's hard on the tablet. You're good. All right, so you're charged in cause number 25 DCCR 0114 with the second degree felony offense of engaging in organized criminal activity from January 10th of 2025. And
The young defendant pleads guilty, thinking probation will spare in prison time, but every word carries the risk of a deal slipping away.
how do you plead to that charge?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you pleading guilty because you actually did what they charged you with?
Yes, ma'am.
I have here on the computer some documents that have your signature on them that the state has marked as exhibit number 1. Before you signed these, did you go over them with Mr. Harris?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you fully understand them?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand if I follow the agreement that you've made with the district attorney that you'll be waiving or giving up any right to appeal?
Yes, ma'am.
And it looks like the agreement that you've reached is for a 7-year deferred probation. There would be a $500 fine, and you would be required to follow all of the rules and conditions of probation, which could include me ordering you to some
The judge's patience shatters as she slams the brakes on a plea deal, calling out chaos inside the jail. Tension rises as the courtroom feels the weight of consequences yet to come.
upfront treatment or like ISF or something like that, and it looks like that's what the state's going to be requesting. Do you understand? And that decision's up to me when we come back for sentencing. Do you also understand, excuse me, if you're not a U.S. citizen, that a plea of guilty or no contest may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law? State tenders number 1.
No objection, Your Honor.
It's admitted. Is there any evidence that Mr. Jackson's not competent?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Jackson, I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. Find that you're mentally competent and you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, I'm going to reset your case so that the probation department can do a pre-sentence report. That'll give me more information about you, your case, and then we'll come back later for sentencing.
The prosecutor warns of violent behavior and hidden write-ups inside the jail. The specter of prison looms as the court considers breaking the agreement.
Before we go forward, can you look real quick, jail incident reports and see if there's any on this one?
And Judge, I was, if I may, going to address that between January and the end of February. So obviously we've had quite some time that either they have not gotten to my file or the court's file. There were at least 8 pages full of write-ups. I would ask the court, Mr. Jackson committed this offense 6 days after he turned 19. It's obviously very serious. He was with a co-defendant, Mr. Bushnell, who's already entered a plea involving firearms, etc. I would ask if the court would consider your usual admonishment of if that behavior continues pending the PSI, that I reserve the right, as does the court, to just reject this offer and possibly send him to prison.
Mr. Jackson, you're probably, I don't know if you're in the same dorm as some of the other ones that have been
Yes.
absolutely ridiculous acting up in the jail.
Yes.
So there's somebody, I think it was last week,
The judge unleashes a warning. One more slip in jail and probation vanishes. A young man's freedom now hangs on 5 weeks of silence.
that came in with a deal like this for a probation, and he didn't get it, and he's sitting back out at that jail. I do not have to accept this plea agreement. I'm going to read every single one of those jail incident reports. The disrespect that y'all are showing to the officers, I can assume what these are going to say, because y'all are all out there. It's the same group that's doing all the same thing, fighting, not following instructions, talking back, calling names. I'm going to read all of that. And let me tell you, if you have one between right now and your sentencing, I will not accept this plea agreement. I'm sick of it, the jail's sick of it, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make that place a better place for those people to go work who are out there just trying to do their job. Do you understand? One. We're not going to come in and say it was somebody else's fault, I only got one, or I got three, and that's not that bad. You can go out there and tell them, I want to get out and be on probation. I don't care what you guys want to do. I'm going to behave. If you have to sit on your bunk all day long and be quiet for the next 5 weeks, then that's what you do. Right? 5 weeks, rest of your life. What do you think? Show me you can do it, okay? All right, and go back with the bailiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
The hearing of 19-year-old Camden Jackson opened with visible frustration from Judge West, who made it clear that repeated disrespect and misconduct within the jail had pushed her patience to its limit. From the very start, she signaled that this case would not be handled lightly, especially after seeing similar behavior from other inmates awaiting probation. After confirming his identity, the court established that Jackson was charged with second-degree engaging in organized criminal activity tied to events from January 2025. The defense waived a formal reading of the indictment, and Jackson entered a guilty plea. He confirmed that he understood the nature of the plea and that his decision was both voluntary and informed. The state's agreement promised 7 years of deferred probation, a $500 fine, and strict conditions, including the possibility of immediate treatment programs. Jackson acknowledged he was aware that by pleading guilty, he was waiving his right to appeal. He also confirmed he had reviewed all plea documents with his attorney. On the surface, the deal looked straightforward, probation instead of prison. But as the hearing continued, cracks began to show. The prosecutor revealed that Jackson had accumulated at least 8 pages of disciplinary write-ups in jail within weeks of the offense. This record of misconduct raised serious doubts about whether probation was appropriate. The prosecutor reminded the court that Jackson committed the crime just 6 days after turning 19, and that his co-defendant had already pleaded guilty in a case involving firearms. With that, the prosecution urged the judge to consider harsher consequences if Jackson continued his behavior before sentencing. Judge West seized on this point. She reminded Jackson that another inmate had walked into her courtroom recently with a similar plea agreement, only to lose probation entirely because of poor behavior behind bars. She warned that she had the authority to reject this plea deal outright, and she intended to read every single incident report tied to Jackson's time in jail. The tension in the room escalated as the judge addressed the broader issue: disrespect toward officers, defiance of rules, and the culture of misconduct spreading among inmates. She delivered a stern ultimatum. If Jackson caused even one more incident before sentencing, she would not honor the probation agreement. Instead, he would face prison. Her final words carried a sharp contrast between short-term discipline and lifelong consequences. If Jackson wanted probation, he would have to prove it by keeping his head down, staying quiet, and avoiding trouble for the next 5 weeks. 5 weeks, or the rest of your life, she told him, making clear the stakes of his behavior. With that, Jackson was let out, his future uncertain. The courtroom made one thing clear. The judge was not only sentencing one young man, but also sending a message to every inmate. Probation is not a guarantee, and defiance can turn opportunity into downfall.